Have you ever wanted your coffee to come in AK-47 flavor or Lava Panther? How about Cactus Squatch? Are you a fan of the taste of chainsaw? Well, boy, do I have a coffee company for you.
Bro, what the fuck is this coffee right now? Cactus Squatch? What is that? Loyalty Rose? Gunship? What flavor is Gunship? I feel like Beyond Black is racist.
Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran owned and doesn't deal in beta male soy boy flavors like pumpkin spice and maple pecan that Starbucks sells. They've got flavors like Beyond Black and Murdered Out because just a normal cup of coffee is for pansies, and Black Rifle have a very real case of the not gays, and they gotta prove it. It's getting real bright in here. Why they didn't just start a farm equipment or axe company or go into the gym supplement business is beyond me. I guess coffee is technically a supplement though. Black Rifle claims to transcend the mere selling of coffee, and to their credit, they have distinguished themselves in a pretty crowded marketplace for better or worse. At its core, Black Rifle has positioned itself as an emblem of a certain way of life. One that cherishes freedom, bravery, serving military veterans, and toxic masculine patriotism.
Instead of worrying about microaggressions and what bathroom I'm gonna use, I believe it's important to support the people that actually serve our country. Christmas! Are you afraid of no fire?
Where Taylor Swift fans might accessorize their Prius with one of those Stanley Quencher mugs, Black Rifle consumers accessorize their Chevy Blazer with a Northrop Grumman M230 Bushmaster chain gun. The founder, Evan Hafer, who gives a shit, started the company in 2014 and before that served in the US Army for 20 years, 15 of which were in Special Forces, where he was a Green Beret with the 19th Special Forces Group. He also served as a contractor for the CIA. Now, I'm not an expert, but the term contractor could mean he's done many boring things on behalf of the CIA, like logistics, reporting, analysis, or just some consulting. But if you know anything about the CIA, it has done some pretty horrendous shit basically since its founding and uses contractors for other more clandestine and violent means because they tend to work in a gray area that lacks accountability and government oversight. For example, contractors are sometimes used for direct action combat roles, interrogation and detention, and use of force that all too often ends in the deaths of civilians. I'm not suggesting that any employee or founder of Black Rifle took part in the Nisour Square mass murder, or the killing of 3 Iraqi media network guards, or drunkenly killing the Iraqi Vice President Adel Abdul Mehdi, or even that they smuggled weapons, or any other numerous abuses, both public and private. I don't know about you, but when I see this photo, I don't immediately think he was typing up reports from a Herman Miller office chair in Langley. I only point this out, more or less, to set a baseline for the background these people come from and where their socio-political beliefs might reside. Pro-Second Amendment, America fuck yeah kinda energy. This is especially bizarre because their videos and commercials and content are often juxtaposed with the sometimes saccharine, ham-fisted patriotic fetish videos like this one.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hi, Ellie.
Here's you. Here's Daddy. Seaver stays happy because I gave him extra treats. Just don't tell Daddy.
You never smile for Daddy. There we go. Gosh, she's gorgeous.
There's nothing like visiting the grave of my dead wife that really gives me a hankering for a hot cup of joe. Listen, it's great that they donate and support veterans who are wildly neglected by their own government, and what people go through in the military is objectively one of the hardest jobs out there, but it's still just a job. And come on, we all know that the military is one big nationalist, brainwashing operation that coerces uneducated men and women into fighting imperialist wars that do more harm than good. We're in one right now. And also spying on American citizens without their knowledge. They're a good organization, guys. And looking into Black Rifle long enough, it just starts to feel like one big psyop where framing dead GIs as a heroic and awful tragedy in a video fit for the Hallmark Channel really feels like they're just recruiting for the army. The whole purpose of that video is to convince the viewer to buy their beans because they do a good thing in supporting some military foundations and veterans. It's why any company promotes and markets their philanthropy. It's just public relations to control consumer perception, and you're being tricked. This particular video is also pretty exploitative by using the fictionalized death of a Marine to sell coffee to a bunch of good old boys with an oppression kink. Black Rifle strategically and deliberately markets itself as a provider of hardcore coffee that is not at all subtle. Yes, they stand out as a lifestyle brand that aligns with a specific socio-political stance, take my gun from my cold dead hands, but as someone with a marketing degree who has sold a bunch of different stuff to a wide array of people, to me they're kind of pigeonholing themselves, which I suppose I should be thankful for. They tap into a niche market of people who call Starbucks star cucks, unironically, and probably shot up Bud Light cans in their backyard like a bunch of backwoods hillbillies who think immigrants are stealing jobs from the white man. They're not. They just want you to be mad at immigrants and brown people. You idiots.
You know how Starbucks has a culture? This is the opposite of that culture. And they actually own up on their promises. I dare you to go into a Starbucks and ask if they have anything to support the troops. They're just gonna be like, no, but we love the troops anyway. I did it, I would know. Anyway, the reason why I like Black Rifle coffee is because it made me realize why Starbucks doesn't work for me. It's not over-processed coffee. It's roast to order. It's fresh. Also, check out their YouTube channel, because if you have an irreverent sense of humor, it is funny as all hell.
People call my videos offensive. Well, fuck you.
What does overprocessed coffee even mean? You just roast them and it's absolutely not roasted to order. I've worked at Starbucks, Pete's, Blue Bottle, and other small cafes over the years, and none of those places had an in-house coffee roaster.
I would know.
More importantly, it would be extremely time-consuming and expensive to roast your beans on site. Bean roasters are huge, and you're making giant batches at a time if you're producing coffee at the scale that Black Rifle needs. The only noticeable difference that you would be able to taste in using beans immediately after they were roasted is that it would probably be worse, because beans go through a process called degassing where they expel CO2. Not allowing for this process to occur can actually lead to a less flavorful cup when brewed, so it's actually recommended to allow for a few days or even weeks before grinding up those beautiful beans and submerging them in boiling water. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And I guess some of their customers are a little confused about where their beans come from, assuming that they came from America, because this guy made a whole video explaining that they don't get them from America unless they source from Hawaii, because there is nowhere in the contiguous United States that can grow the coffee plant.
Black Rifle coffee is not American coffee. The only coffee grown in the United States is grown in Hawaii, and I don't believe they have a Hawaiian blend. So while they may have an American flag on the bag, while it may have a really cool name, and while it is roasted in the United States, Black Rifle coffee is not American.
They've also cultivated the worst kind of loyal customers like the previous guy. Libertarians who will never forget 9/11 and fantasize about building an underground bunker to live out the rest of their life like a mole person, or who's that guy in Tremors? And from a business standpoint, there's really not much room for them to expand if that's even their goal. I'm not really sure who else you're gonna reach when your marketing materials feature just all the guns and images of 9/11.
World Trade Center, we understand.
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Based on the 2 commercials we've watched that they've produced, it seems to me that Black Rifle fully endorsed invading another country under false pretenses. How is no one talking about how bizarre and insensitive this is coming from a support the troops brand? This whole sales approach of framing coffee as the ultimate symbol of America as the land of the free and the home of the brave is crazy. I complained once already about hyper-masculine products that are sold to men that do not need to exist and lack any inherent masculine qualities because you typically don't look at a roll of toilet paper or bananas and blame the inanimate object itself for terrorism or billionaire corruption. Just like you don't look at a cup of coffee and immediately think of Uncle Sam dual-wielding revolvers like he's in a fucking team deathmatch on Halo. We only ever associate household products with a certain way of life or ideals because other people who are attracted to that brand place those meanings on them. And sure, branding, semiotics, and marketing strategies can influence the optics of a brand or product and who a company might want to target, but at the end of the day, they just want to sell to as many people as possible. It's why almost every company participates in gay pride branding during the entire month of June, or does some promotion for Black History Month. It's called performative corporate diversity. I always thought things like coffee were just coffee because most products you buy don't have an inherent political affiliation. It's just hot bean juice. Twisting something as common as coffee into something that's masculine or patriotic is weird. In fact, to me, going this far out of your way to assign meaning to coffee is just as corny as getting a Frappuccino from Starbucks that could technically be classified as a dessert. I'm so tired of the black coffee is for men rhetoric. Saying that is pretty beta. Their other videos are just porn for gun nuts, sprinkled with some of the laziest, most cringe comedy that essentially boils down to, don't like me or guns or tits? Too bad, you beta male cuck.
People ask us why we have so many guns. I just tell them, how about over 200 years of freedom, bitch? Here at Black Rifle Coffee Company, we have a coffee club, which means you spend less time ordering and more time doing what you love. No look! And I actually hit that. Unlike your competitors who just rebag other people's coffee, we roast ours right here in-house. Evan!
Fresh roasted freedom.
I've heard people say patriotism is racism. Well, as a veteran-owned company, we give zero fucks about your opinion.
The amount of racist, nationalist, and transphobic dog whistles they can cram into a single video is pretty astonishing. Everything they say and do in these videos are veiled threats propped up as patriotism. It's so embarrassing that not even the employees in the background can take them seriously. The anticlimax of the beans slowly pouring out of that burlap sack after being gutted like a fish really does something for me.
Fresh roasted freedom.
And still, some of their other videos are the 40-year-old with a mortgage equivalent of elementary kids playing cowboys and Indians in their backyard with sticks they found.
On target, on time, boys! Fire for effect! Here we go! Set! You heard him! Fire for effect!
There's something especially goofy about a bunch of grown men selling coffee dressed up as World War II soldiers where the punchline is, dick hits are funny. Physical comedy can be funny, don't get me wrong, but when executed poorly, it's just lazy, especially when it's the only joke you can come up with. This type of comedy is only really funny when it's unexpected and the victim isn't just acting like they're hurt. No one in these videos is selling any of these hits, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm no stunt man. I guess we're also supposed to laugh at how much yelling is happening because loud sounds are also funny.
Garrett! What you doing, boy?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to help! Son, you ain't helping nobody out here like that!
This is why you can't be trusted in any of.
And when they're not making World War II reenactment videos, they're complaining about the pussification of American men, further reinforcing gender norms and making fun of pacifists, I guess. Oh, and also dressing up in Al-Qaeda cosplay.
Are you tired of the pussification of the American male who's too afraid to defend themselves, saying shit like, violence shouldn't exist? All right, buddy, say it to that asshole.
Get to it, Manicotti!
Shut the fuck up. Morning. Just how I like it. I believe that men should enjoy the finer things in life, like badass women and great coffee.
That's straight whiskey.
America.
I'm not an expert in comedy or joke construction, but there's something about these jokes that are all so cliched and wholly unoriginal. Maybe it's the condescending tone of their delivery, or that they're making fun of and trivializing those who have experienced police brutality. Classic comedy! They are the walking definition of tone deaf who lack any empathy and think insensitivity is intrinsically hilarious.
A lot of people have opinions about what it's like to be a police officer, but they've never walked the thin blue line. 5-0 down low.
Oh my god, why didn't he arrest you?
Because we didn't break the fucking law.
Ha! Get it? Cops don't arrest white people. Now let's randomly empty the clip on a machine gun before slamming down a bag of caffeinated as fuck coffee.
Huh?
So cool. Get it? Women can't do anything right. The messaging is so confusing because it just makes me think that if I buy their coffee, my wife is going to become a witch with magical telekinetic abilities who's gonna fuck up the kitchen every morning. Not a great way to sell your coffee. All of these videos are harebrained and half thought out concepts that don't make a lick of sense. Am I supposed to want to buy their coffee after that? Or watch it as just a short comedy sketch? What is happening?
Something to give you the energy to fight off a pack of 10 pissed off wild horses? Introducing Dr. Steve's Milk Chicken. It's raw chicken and 100% genetically altered whole milk. With over 18,000 grams of protein in every serving, you literally feel your bones growing. Milk Chicken's patented formula mixes the natural proteins of chicken with the chemical elements of milk. It's calcium united with meat. Milk Chicken comes in 3 distinct flavors: original, Italian, and hot, at 9.8 million Scovilles. No peppers were used to achieve this because we genetically engineered it in a North Korean laboratory and the FDA is threatening to shut us down for it. Every day you wait is a day your bones could be growing. Order now.
I see someone is a fan of the old Power Thirst parody videos from Picnic Face from like almost 2 decades ago.
Hey! Do you want to feel so energetic? Try Power Thirst. Energy drinks for people who need gratuitous amounts of energy.
Let's go down the checklist of comedy gold in this video. Big dumb guy, shouting,
Milk Chicken,
cum, racist accents,
Italian,
gross displays of food consumption, big dumb guy but just in silly costumes. Fucking genius stuff here. I just realized this is the ubermensch version of don't talk to me until I've had my morning coffee. You don't need coffee if you just use the music and this video is your alarm clock. I bet there's no difference between this explosion and their gender reveal parties. I hate this so much. It's just coffee. You guys need to chill out. They're treating their beans like it's meth.
You want to really get your day going? Don't buy stupid coffee that's most likely produced using slave labor. Buy a used 1983 Dolphin RV and make your own meth. Pour over coffee, try pulling over in a secluded desert wasteland and cook that meth. Bitch! Coffee beans can be expensive. You know what's not? Stealing household cleaning products from Target to use in your rolling drug lab. Making a decent cup of coffee can be time-consuming. But with the power of speed, you'll be able to bitch slap Einstein's theory of relativity right into a black hole because you'll know what it's like to enter the speed force like the Flash. When you're high on meth, an hour will only feel like a minute before you know you've got a brand new batch of rocket fuel crank. Can coffee create a drug-induced wormhole through space and time? Fuck no! Oh God, why am I so horny all of a sudden? Ugh.
As I mentioned earlier, Black Rifle has attracted some of the worst, most arrogant customers on the planet. That being the brain-rotted conspiracy theorist who will boycott a brand and make a fuss over even the slightest hint of being woke. Not even the most obviously conservative alt-right brands are safe because these types of people are always on the lookout for the next triviality to be pissed off about. Deep down, I feel like they just hate having to buy stuff, which you would think would lead them to communism and not libertarianism. This exact thing happened with Black Rifle, where people found the donation list for Act Blue, a Democrat small donor nonprofit that seemed to suggest the company was donating directly to the quote-unquote opposition. It first made the rounds at the end of 2022, but recently resurfaced, causing another stupid uproar on TikTok. Surprisingly, there were people who you maybe wouldn't expect to jump in and clear things up.
So this seems to be making its rounds again. Black Rifle Coffee Company donates to Democratic Party, and everybody's trying to boycott Black Rifle Coffee. But Black Rifle Coffee as an organization literally can't donate to a Democratic Party or any party because that's against the law. Instead, what you're seeing is employees of Black Rifle Coffee Company. So some lady in the back packing coffee on a conveyor belt decides to donate to the Democratic Party. Guess what? That's her right.
This is a prime example why I do not get too heavily into politics, because there's the blue no matter who or red until I'm dead voters, the ones that are far right and the ones that are far left, and they're both just fucking dumb. They're both just dumb. And you got about 30, 40 other people commenting, oh, I'm done with Black Rifle Coffee. And they have no brain. They see something that they just follow it like sheep. They call other people sheep, but here they are.
It's just so funny to me when a brand positions itself as an alt-right, pro-gun, FJB company, only for their customers to turn on them because not all their employees share the same values. This is why conservatism as a whole is so bad. It creates an extremely toxic, anti-intellectual, and tribalistic mentality that just wants to further disenfranchise the already disenfranchised. You end up with a bunch of morons who don't know how or refuse to Google something for further information, which is ironic considering they're the first people to yell, "Do your own research." I didn't mean Truth Social or Conservapedia. And as for the coffee itself, it doesn't even seem like it's all that good. Look like she's gonna have a stroke. Black Rifle has undoubtedly carved out a niche market by aligning its products with a specific set of values and cultural symbols that raises important questions about the role of businesses in shaping and reflecting societal divisions. I'm leaving that in. I don't want to do it again. The company's approach has led to both fervent support and significant criticism from the same people they're trying to reach, that highlights the balance between authenticity and controversy in a brand's identity. Ultimately, Black Rifle is a perfect example of how the products we buy are increasingly seen as extensions of our personal beliefs and identities to a pretty obnoxious degree. Whether Black Rifle's model is sustainable in the long term, who knows? They have a bunch of coffee shop locations all around Utah, which, now that I'm thinking about it, is a pretty big red flag in itself. The fake outrage that they got recently should be a lesson on the potential pitfalls of right-wing branding in an era of heightened political consciousness, and how you probably shouldn't make videos that are a confusing, sexist mess full of lazy humor made by a bunch of unfunny and tone-deaf buffoons. Thanks so much for sticking around, and if you made it this far, that means you're special. Be sure you like and share and subscribe, share it with a friend or an enemy, or maybe the gun nut in your family. For everybody that participated in the poll where I asked what topic I should do next, the common courtesy video is coming. The script is done. I just wanted to do something that was a little easier and a little shorter, this video being that. So next week, I should have the courtesy video out. So stick around for that. Sign up for notifications. I'm in the community section all the time posting stuff. So go check that out. And I guess that's it. Until next time, vanish.